Welcome to WID, helping millions understand the money behind America's biggest stories. Because every dollar has a story. And today, we're doing a full explainer to decode this one. So what if I told you that the biggest reason so many hardworking people never build wealth actually isn't because they don't earn enough? It's because they never tell their money where to go. Millions of Americans know exactly when payday is, right? They work 40, 50 hours a week just grinding it out. But if you were to ask them, they literally couldn't tell you where most of last month's paycheck actually went. That disconnect between earning the money and actually keeping it, well, that's exactly where the real problem hides. Okay, let's dive into this with a story we've all seen play out. Imagine two coworkers, and we earn the exact same salary. Over 5 years, the first one is constantly stressed about money. They're just reacting to every surprise expense, like, needing 4 new tires or fixing a busted water heater. And it feels like a massive world-ending emergency every single time. Now, the second coworker, they aren't any richer, but they have a clear financial plan. Fast forward those 5 years, that first person is still stuck in the daily pain of financial drift, just scraping by until the next payday. The second person, they paid off debt, built up savings, and are steadily moving toward bigger goals with this profound peace of mind. When their water heater breaks, they just adjust the plan and pay for it. No panic. So what actually changed? In this explainer, we're unpacking this simple strategy that quietly transforms financial lives. Let's get right into part 1, the unseen financial drift. You see, living without clear goals naturally leads to what we call lifestyle inflation. You make a little more, so you spend a little more. Add in the daily decision fatigue of modern life, and you've got a perfect recipe for drifting financially. And hey, there is absolutely no shame here. This is the everyday reality for millions of single adults, young professionals, and even retirees. As the saying goes, some bank statements read more like mystery novels than financial records. I mean, we've all been there. You're staring at a screen, wondering who committed the crime of spending all that money, only to realize, actually, it was us. Emotional spending when we're stressed or tired just evaporates our hard-earned cash, leaving us with that suffocating paycheck-to-paycheck stress instead of real security for our families. But here is the really good news. The most valuable page in your financial life, it might still be blank. You don't need a time machine to fix past financial drift, and you definitely don't need a finance degree to understand any of this. You just need intention, and you just need to turn the page. So how exactly do we stop the mystery and start writing a story of hope and confidence? Which brings us to part 2. What is a money plan? A lot of folks hear the word plan and they instantly think of restrictions, guilt, or these incredibly complicated spreadsheets that literally only an accountant could love. We are throwing all of that right out the window. A financial plan is simply a written, flexible roadmap that aligns your income, spending, saving, debt, and long-term goals. That's it. It's not a prison for your money. It's a practical, everyday tool designed for ordinary Americans to just create options for themselves. It bends with your life rather than breaking under the pressure of a single unexpected bill. So the crucial thing here is visualizing exactly where the money goes. When a paycheck is totally unassigned, a huge chunk of it is lost to chaotic drift. Those random surprise expenses that seem to come out of nowhere. Think about how easy it is to drop like $100 on a mindless run to Target for things you literally didn't even go in for. But when you plan, you shift that chaotic slice directly into intentional savings. You take that same $100 and you give it a name, like an emergency fund deposit. You replace confusion with confidence, creating a buffer that protects you and gives you real choices. Let's move on to part 3, the 5 practical parts. If we want this to be an approachable blueprint for everyone, whether you're a parent trying to save for college, a young professional tackling student loans, or a small business owner, we have to keep the anatomy of this plan incredibly practical. So here are the 5 pillars in plain, everyday language. Step 1, income. You need to know exactly what's coming in before anything goes out. Step 2, essential expenses, because keeping a roof over your head and the lights on comes before absolutely anything else. Step 3, emergency savings. These are your financial shock absorbers for when life inevitably hits a pothole. Step 4, debt management. You need a clear, aggressive strategy to pay down what you owe. And finally, step 5, long-term goals, like retirement or helping your kids. Just tracking these specific areas transforms absolute confusion into rock-solid confidence. And listen, by just getting those 5 pillars down on paper, you're already way ahead of the game. But here is where it gets super fascinating. The biggest mistake people make actually isn't overspending. It's something entirely different that most of us completely overlook when we try to get our financial house in order. Welcome to Part 4, The Psychology of Paper. In our discovery today, we found that physically writing a plan down, whether you're using actual paper or a dedicated digital doc, it fundamentally changes your financial behavior. It isn't just math, folks, it is deeply psychological. When you write it down, it creates a tangible commitment, it drives personal accountability, and most importantly, it vastly reduces financial stress and puts the brakes on impulsive choices. Your brain reacts entirely differently to a written boundary compared to loose mental math. When you give every single dollar a job before the month even begins, you completely eliminate the daily decision fatigue of wondering, wait, can I actually afford this dinner out? You replace that lingering financial anxiety with immense peace of mind. Okay, moving to Part 5, Avoiding the Perfection Trap. Let's be real for a second. The moment you start writing things down, you are going to make a mistake. A surprise bill will hit, or you'll completely forget to budget for your best friend's birthday dinner. This is completely normal. The goal here is practical education, not flawless execution. In fact, many people have a budget that exists mainly as an optimistic document created on New Year's Day. It's a nice tradition, right? But it rarely survives contact with reality by mid-February. We so often make the mistake of creating these highly unrealistic budgets, or we just completely ignore regular expenses like annual car registrations or those sneaky software subscriptions. And there is a massive difference between those who fail and those who succeed over time. When you pursue perfection, you tend to give up the moment you overspend by $10. You literally throw your hands up and say, well, the budget is ruined for the month. But when you practice consistency, it just means adjusting your flexible roadmap and trying again tomorrow. Giving up after one mistake is the real failure. True wealth actually grows through resilient, repeated, intentional habits. This kind of consistency directly impacts your biggest life choices, especially housing. Whether you're deciding between renting versus buying, planning to relocate for a new job, or saving up for a down payment, consistent planning keeps you prepared. Imagine you're saving for a house and suddenly interest rates jump. If you've been practicing consistency and tracking your expenses, you can pivot. You can find extra room in your budget to adjust to the new market realities without completely giving up on your dream. Your roadmap keeps you ready for opportunity. Which leads us to Part 6, Building Your Blueprint Today. So let's make this real for you right now. This isn't just abstract theory. These are empowering, realistic action steps that you can sit down and do this very weekend. Grab a notebook and start right here. First, list your income and your essentials. Second, start building that emergency fund over time. And I really want to emphasize this. Even saving just $20 a week is a massive victory. It absolutely adds up. Third, look for ways to reduce your high-interest debt. Fourth, save consistently toward goals that actually mean something to you. And finally, review your plan monthly. These are simple, absolutely shame-free steps derived from respected financial education sources to help you start gaining control today. Because at the end of the day, one simple habit quietly separates people who feel in control from those who constantly feel behind. It is the quiet secret to long-term financial success, and it's something absolutely anyone watching this can adopt today: intentionality. Just being intentional with what you have. Let's wrap things up with Part 7, Key Discoveries. As we close out this explainer, we set out to uncover why having a simple written plan so dramatically improves your life. And honestly, the timeless principles we found are truly encouraging. So the crucial point to take away is this: every single dollar should have a purpose. Small decisions compound massively over time. Simplicity always wins over complexity. And ultimately, planning creates options. When you write things down and embrace flexibility, your financial confidence grows. You have the ultimate power to stop drifting and start steering your future. Remember, every dollar has a story, and now you know this one. See you in the next explainer. What's the very first step you're going to take after watching this? Are you going to write down your financial goals, build an emergency fund, review your spending, or finally create a written money plan? Tell us in the comments. Your answer might encourage someone else to start today.
WID, wealth in depth. Every dollar has a story.